Hello, we're back. Well, I'm back after a few weeks of my voice arrest and a you arrest from my voice. Um, Still not feeling 100%, but you're going to have to listen to me with the stinking cold, so I apologise with the sniffs and the coughs. Throughout an action-packed League 1, League 2 and National League Prem schedule. Luckily with the former and latter League 1 and National League Prem, we've reached a point where us drafters are actually starting to play each other now. So hopefully going to jump straight into Levi against Matty, second against first in the race for League 1 promotion. Obviously I don't need to be bringing my voice to this experience every time anyway, but sometimes it's nice to add a bit of context to some of these games, especially after a few weeks out. There it is, the top of the table. Not quite the top four, being dominated by us four. God, Balotelli's a beast. Thomarse, with a few early glitches, starting to come, I say good, better maybe, in the last few weeks. But that top four being broken up by Tottenham D at the moment, and the beast scores. What a hit. Speaking of glitches, Matty's only real, I say Matty, Ellister, their only real glitch came in the Carabao Cup. Other than that, he's looked extremely dominant in the league. Reflected by Sir Alex winning Manager of the Month in September. Sir Alex, he keeps rotating his front two as well. He's got Cantona, Ivan Toney, Phil Foden. He sort of switches around, no matter who he seems to play. And Balotelli, of course. No matter who he seems to play, he seems to get a tune out of them. By contrast, Levi was trying to flog Falcao to anyone who would listen over the summer. That's his second of the season. That's a fifth for De Bruyne. I was looking through the League 1 stats, or all the stats yesterday. Not really surprising, De Bruyne up there amongst the highest rated players so far this season, only Ronaldo outperforming him. Meanwhile, as I was saying yesterday, in the top 8 goal scorers, Ellister have 4 of them. Toney, Cantona, Foden and Kulusevski as well been chipping in. But he does find himself behind now. It's actually been a really dominant first half from Levi's boys. I was just about to say, I think both Foyster at Foyverton and Thomas at Thomarse, their best result here would be a draw. Levi could feel quite hard done by if he doesn't win this. This is ominous. Very well worked. Best performance of the season by a distance from Levi's boys. He obviously did have quite a busy summer in terms of transfers, so it might have just taken a few weeks to really gel. Coutinho, one of those coming in. Similar with Ramirez at centre mid, Gallas at centre back, Dubravka in goal. So a sort of huge part of his spine of the team is still in their early days with the club. This is a bit of a statement win, presuming he does hold on. Presuming. We did have an absolute 5-4 thriller in the week between Lawrence's White Hart Chamberlain and Dauncey's Devils. You'd say that's less likely here, but we are in Fergie time. A deserved win, though. Speaking of White Hart Chamberlain, got themselves to within 2 points of top of the table with their 5-4 win the other day, and a game in hand on myself, who's currently at the top. Bolge, by contrast, has only really got his season going in the last couple of weeks. Had a pretty turgid start to the year, but won his first league game the other day. Hugely active in the transfer market, which led to top and tails of now Czech and Bergkamp instead of Victor Valdez and Fernando Torres. So yeah, form book wise, you'd say the away team have got it to lose, but it's not as much of a foregone conclusion as it was maybe 2 weeks ago. Tyrell Malacia getting his first run out, probably in the whole of the PLP. But it's the other fullback doing something he never did in real life. What on earth? That's the sound of me pouring more coffee to get over the shock of that. Interestingly, so Lawrence parted with Les Ferdinand to me in my desperate attempt to get rid of the snake Isak. But Isak, who did score his first 2 goals for the club midweek, has just been immediately dropped, rested, maybe injured. I mean, he does like a rest. Maybe he just didn't bother training this week. But Freddie Canute's in to try and salvage this result. Still no sign of him off the bench either. Nice to see Darren Anderson. He's coming on every single game at the moment. But there's actually been quite a bit of rotation from White Hart Chamberlain today, looking at it. I think it was Parker and Højbjerg playing centre mid against Dauncey, but it was a pretty hectic, frantic match. So maybe it's just been ringing the changes. Gareth Bale's been dropped. That's another one I've just noticed. I think it's not rotation so much as complacency. And it's come back to bite them. Gerrard's replacement. What a guy. Yeah, Craig's season really has got going this week. It's a complete reversal of last season where he had a brilliant start to the year and then fell off a cliff. Maybe he's just doing it in reverse this year. And true to being Gerrard's replacement, he does that. needless. But I can already hear Craig get excited about Jim Magilton or Matt Holland playing for the next 3 games. Yeah, complacent from Loz, clinical from Bolge, quality and stupid from Tonali. 3 points Bolge. Doing me a favour at the top in the process. I was about to see, we can now get a chance to see where Fernando Torres has gone, but he doesn't look to be starting. Big George Weir up top. Now, last season this would have been an absolute relegation 6-pointer. At the moment, bit of a playoff chasing mid-table 3-pointer. Gerrard's here, but no sign of Torres, not sure if he's injured perhaps. And of course, after getting rid of Petr, it's just a constant palace-y rotation between Gaeta and Gabor Kirillai. The latter pyjama wearer getting a nod today. Also quite bizarrely, after playing a back 3 all of last season, which didn't seem typical of Arsene Wenger at all, he's out of nowhere decided to go for a 4-2-3-1, which has definitely benefited Harry so far this season. The likes of a Kocher definitely benefiting. Deco too. Similarly, the introduction of Kenny Dalglish's 4-4-2 is starting to pay off for Connor as well. Took a little while to get going, but Shearer and Adebayor, or Shearer and Fowler, really seems to be working. You've got usually either Joe Cole or Maddison off the left, Nani or Neto off the right, although he's actually gone for both today. He's also got Modric, I think, is injured at the moment, but another decent option, of course. So yeah, it's nice to see both sides actually. After struggling last year, both should be in a much more comfortable position this season. Connor especially, actually, he is not only winning a lot of late, but some of the goals he's been scoring, the team goals, have been brilliant. Much to Ziggy's frustration, who had Kenny Dalglish all of last season and didn't really put together those patterns or performances, hence the sacking. But actually, he's another one benefiting from his new manager at the start of this year too. Arne Slot, of course. Doesn't overly bode well with the new FM mere weeks away that this one is stuttering on my laptop a little bit today. Apologies for that. Perhaps playing under Kenny Dalglish again is getting the best out of Shearer. Didn't quite do what Connor hoped he would do last season, but leading goal scorer in the league this year. And I'm not bitter about that at all. First half hat-trick. There we are. Severe lack of respect for the pyjamas. I know I say this every time, but I just love Harry's squad so much. Its performances just don't match the look of it. Just a very attractive set of players from sort of the midfield up. Ruined by Martin Keown's gargoyle head at centre-back. Torres must be injured not to be even coming off the bench. Not that it would have made much difference. Connor's form at the moment, playoff worthy at least, you'd think. Final lot, sort of featured League 2 game. Leeds UniTodd and Warringham. Warringham kind of doing what they threatened to do in the second half of last year when they won the Europa League and also found some really good league form and finished top half. You did look at that moment, especially with Haaland up top. They could be a playoff, if not better, competing side this season. And I'd say it's looked a lot like that at times. I think they had a quite surprising loss midweek, but it was a Haaland down. With him in the team, though, they look extremely dangerous. I think even more starkly, the home side have relied so intensely on Anelka, both last season and this. But despite that pretty immense centre midfield trio, haven't really got it going this year. So you'd think on paper, everything other than the striker, they should be more than competitive in a game like this. But the fact that that is only his first goal of the season. It's quite odd for a Bielsa team as well. You'd expect some of the more attacking midfielders to be pitching in quite regularly. But as ever, it's almost impossible to call Alex's results. Sort of in the same category as Bustin Villa. Could win away against top of the table and lose at home to bottom within the same week quite comfortably. Jurgen Klopp obviously wanted a bit more aggression coming into the second half, hauling off Gary Cahill and sticking Slaven Bilic in for no reason whatsoever, other than presumably rage. There we go, see off. Pretty much the first chance of the game falls to the right person. That's why this team are so dangerous. It's weird, we didn't actually get sort of the dominance of some of the big strikers, your Henrys, Haalands, Shearers last year, but it does seem to be happening this season. I'm not sure what the difference would be, but Michael Owen is another one falls into that category for me. He was pretty non-existent last year, but started on fire this year. Harry Kane too. John Barnes. Love it when the proper golden oldies step in. This would be, to be fair, a very good away win, considering he's also got the European schedule to navigate. Was away at Napoli and lost midweek. It's the perils of winning the Europa League. He's been thrown into the Champions League alongside myself. And we've got Dan City Y in the Europa League and the Skyloos in the Conference League. But if last season's anything to go by, we're all at a bit of a disadvantage as a result of it. Not that you can tell here, although he is a bit under pressure. David De Gea having a worldie. Oh, he says as he makes an absolute shocker of a decision to come out there. Nice to see the commentator's curse extends to random FM lark. Andy Robertson shit in his pants as well. This game very much feels like it's got another 1 or 2 goals left in it. Adam Wharton's on, as is Felipe Anderson, first goal of the season. Strength and depth, and quite a lot of youth he inherited in the summer as well. Well, not inherited, drafted. I feel this would be a little bit harsh on Alex. But yeah, another game with a bucket full of goals. A massive win after a tough midweek. Definitely in the playoff hunt. Now attention's turned to the National League Prem, and like I said earlier, we're now starting to get to the point where the drafters are playing each other, and I'd say this one's probably amongst the most intriguing. Old friends Gourlay and Necruz, the two Toms. Both sort of in that chasing pack at the moment. It's really been Craig's, otbCraig and Marshyside that have set themselves apart in the early stages. These two you'd expect firmly within the playoffs, but obviously would like to track down the top two if possible. So Gourlay's probably carrying the slightly better form, and the home side today, of course, so would make them slight favourites. Not helped by, not sure who that was in goal, having a little lie down. Petrovic. Very lucky not to be a goal down in these opening stages. More luck than judgment, I think. Otherwise, very cagey. So the National League Prem sides have got a bit of a busy schedule coming up. So they're playing, obviously today, they've got games on Tuesday as well, where all 6 of our boys are in action, and actually Tom, Necruz, LuTom, again, have sort of an all-drafter clash against Marshyside, so it doesn't get any easier. Then next weekend they're in FA Cup action. 4th qualifying round, which they'll all be hoping to progress through, because it'll be their only real chance to play against the rest of our League 1 and League 2 sides this year. Obviously won't be in the League Cup, so it'd be good to see all 6, and all 6 have been separated, if that makes sense. They're all playing other pyramid sides, very much lower pyramid sides, of course. Is that another offside goal? No, he's on. I guess on balance it's been deserved, but it's not been the most exciting game to watch. Gourlay keeping tabs if he holds on. Just about keeping pace with the automatic places, that should settle it. Necruz, on the other hand, barring quite a shift in trend, might have to settle for the playoffs. Already looking ahead. I think Liam's Manchestaff are probably in a similar boat. Gourlay wins the Battle of the Toms by 2 or 3. Sneaky last second highlight. It is 3. An own goal to pretty much sum up the vibe of that 90 minutes. Next up, an even tougher task against Marshyside midweek. Mancini destined for a second tough year in PLP land. Now go through all the other scores, starting back up at League 1. Just a couple more to settle here, including another good win for Thomarse, actually. Starting to find a bit of form. Not sure Cardiff put up much of a fight, to be fair, but still, nice comfortable win. The kind of comfortable wins he was hoping for weeks ago, really. And an equally comfortable win for Foyverton, despite Ronaldo's red card, but he'll only miss a game. Kluivert really been firing his way into the first 11 recently. Nice and easy for those boys. And actually, who was top of the table, Ellister, the only one of the 4 to lose today. Down to League 2. Barnstorming game to kick us off here. Actually, there are a lot of chances. Combined XG of nearly 5. And yet 0-0. No surprise to see both keepers playing 7.4 plus. Won't linger on that one too much. Took a late goal from summer recruit João Felix to see Chesh over the line. Chelsea D have caused a bit of problems the last few weeks for us lot. Wes Morgan didn't help the case, actually. 27th minute red card. In a rare outing for him, actually. More comfortable for Calvert. Not ideal to see his keeper injured, but Rob Green a pretty able replacement. Another summer recruit in Mbumo getting another goal. Man United C, another team to cause issues from recent weeks. In fact, Brian Robson came 3rd in the Manager of the Month competition. Him now manager at Man United C. This time, playoff chasing Danielsea falling victim to Jordi Cruyff et al. I mean, how is that team picking up any points? And my potent, new, much more loyal front 2 of Owen and Ferdinand. I say loyal when I say Michael Owen. Definitely less Ferdinand. Another win, aided by Lawrence's loss. It's actually been a very good weekend for me. And I was intrigued by this game, both chasing the automatic promotion places, an even better result for me actually. I think they were 2nd and certainly another, I think Dauncey was also in the playoff places before today. The Red Wall been on absolute fire. Eric Ten Hag winning Manager of the Month. Anthony's the highest rated player in the league, although he's only put in a 6.3 today. Steve Bruce was Player of the Month. So another game unbeaten, but had the chance to win it, you'd think. Still, much better season so far for Whall than last year. And we saw Bolge's result earlier. Down to the National League Prem. Wow, biggest win of the season so far for Liam, for sure. A red dominant display. Marcus Rocco injured and still no place for Ian Hart. So bizarre. Slightly more laboured win for Marshy, although the stats don't really ever put the result in doubt. Two summer arrivals in De Jong and Van Bronckhorst getting the goals. Yapstam was Player of the Month actually for September in this league. Finally finding a spot at centre back. Good win for Craig's NottinGiant as well. Despite the Fabian Schär red card, which did not help matters. Still managed to turn it around. Nice Morales brace. Got to love those striking options too. It doesn't even include Dion Dublin as a possibility as well. And finally, very comfortable win. Dropped his first points last time out, but still very comfortable at the top of the table. Absolute horror show from Sheffield United. Injuries, 5 ratings all over the show. And a demolition. Despite Carlton Palmer putting in a subpar performance. He's earned it. So, quick look at the tables. Still Tottenham C separating the 4 drafters, but surely only a matter of time. Thomarse actually got a featured game next week against Arsenal D. Otherwise very tight at the top. That could be an exciting race this year. Down to League 2, and yeah, I've really benefited from that set of results today. Lawrence and Ned. It's really interesting actually. So first, pretty much all Newcastle players with a couple of additions. 2 exclusively Man United. 5th, Ned, exclusively Arsenal. Lawrence in 6th, exclusively Spurs plus sneaky Isak. I don't know if there is this weird affiliation with the club that's getting a tune out of them, or just complete coincidence, but I think we're the only ones to have adopted that approach, and we're all in the top 6. But again, it's going to be a really tight run thing for both automatic and playoffs this year, I think. And Bolge, definitely not now the lowest ranked drafter. Both Wyman, who he plays this week, and Alex fall into the bottom of our table, let's say. And to the National League Prem, and it's a 4-point cushion between 2nd and 3rd, though it's only one that gets automatic. So again, that should be quite an interesting race between Muff and Marshy. And a bit similar to League 1 now, we've got a bit of a rogue termite in the ant's nest with Burnley B separating what we would think as the Big 6. So I'm going to call it a day there. We have actually got a rogue League 2 game tomorrow where Chaz of the Rovers plays the Sky Loos. They have to play on a Sunday because of their European campaign. So that will have its own little mini highlight reel. And then back in midweek for a National League Prem special. See you then.